Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I am wishing you guys Happy New Year because I know we're in January. It is, however, the last day of 2024 while I am recording this, and I could not think of a better time to share a little bit with you guys. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Fabienne, and I am an independent consultant and a national vice president with this incredible company who literally just promoted to nation last month. So it's very still surreal to say that. And I guess I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about me, about my story, and my journey to nation, and give you my top three tips going into 2025, like things you can do to absolutely explode your business. So, for those of you that don't know, I am half Irish, half French, and I moved to Australia 12 years ago. I am a mum of two boys, and my partner Mike is a fourth generation farmer, and we live in the bush, rurally, about a 3.5 hour drive from our closest city. So, I really do, when people say you can build a urban business from anywhere in the world, like it's so, so true. We live in a rural population of about 600 people. To give you guys a bit of an idea, I don't even have Wi-Fi. My phone is hotspotted to my laptop right now to make this recording for you guys. So I have built my business on 4G, using my phone from basically the bush in Australia, like what you guys would see on TV. And not only that, but also having an upline in the UK. I am kind of, I guess, the first person in this success line here in Australia, with my uplines being, directly Charlie, Claire, Stuart, Sarah in the UK. So it is possible to build a business rurally. It is possible to build a business when you don't know a lot of people. It is possible to build a business when your upline is in a completely different time zone. It just comes down to wanting it bad enough, doing the work, and having the initiative to do so. So, I started my business literally 5 years ago in October 2019. And a little bit about me, I had been in corporate banking for about 8 years. I was a new mom. My son was 8 months old, and I was absolutely drowning. I don't have any family here, so I had no support. My partner works very long hours. Like, to give you guys an idea, like we don't even have like a daycare. So I was just in the thick of motherhood. And I honestly, as much as becoming a mom had been the biggest blessing, at the same time, I felt like I was completely lost. Like I didn't know what my purpose was. I just felt like I had lost my identity. And if you're a mom and you go from having, a corporate career or a successful career or something outside of motherhood, and suddenly you're consumed by motherhood, it can be really, really difficult. And I just couldn't get a break from that. Um, Couple that with the fact that I was actually due back to my job 4 months later, and my job in corporate banking is target driven, it's high pressured, it's not something that you can do part time. So I was number one, really nervous about going back to work, but at the same time, I knew I needed to go back to work because I needed something for me and I also needed to put food on the table. And that's when this business sort of came into my life. And I'm not going to lie, I was not one of those, yes, please sign me up straight away people. I took a bit of time to think about it, to go over sort of everything. But it sort of just came down to, at the end of the day, I had absolutely nothing to lose in giving this a go. Worst case scenario, I was getting fabulous products at a fabulous discount. That was the absolute worst case scenario. So I decided to jump in. And in the beginning, for me, it really was just like, oh, a bit of a distraction from motherhood, something to get me into back into talking with adults again before I was due back to my job. And I really just wanted to make an extra couple of $100 a month so I could treat myself to new active wear, treat myself to getting my nails done, my hair done without having that guilt. When you're not working and you're relying on your partner or one income, you kind of feel guilty when you spend money on things that are not, necessities. So that was literally what it was for me. And about 6 weeks into my business, I realized the massive potential that this business had. It was not just, selling lipstick to old ladies. I was sitting on in a multi-billion dollar industry. And if I wanted to make something more of this, I absolutely could. So from that moment on, about 6 weeks into my business, I was all in. Now, my journey is definitely not typical, but it is very possible. And I'm not here to tell you what's typical. I'm here to tell you what's possible and what you can achieve when you put the work in and the mindset into this business. So I went all in, and in my first full month of business, I went straight into qualification for area, and I completed on New Year's Eve, 2019. So I was a brand new area manager, and I didn't want to stop there. So we kept going, and we became a regional vice president team just 6 months into my Arbonne journey. Again, not typical, but still very possible. Now, this was in May 2020. And sorry, yeah, May 2020. And my password on one of my passwords was something like NVP November 2020, something like that. So I was like, yeah, May 2020, another 6 months, I'll be a nation. Let's go. Let me tell you guys, that is not the case. It took me another 5 years on from that, sorry, 4 years on from that to grow to nation. Okay. And there was a lot of gaps. Yes, I might have had the work ethic, but I certainly didn't have the leadership skills. And I certainly was not personally developed enough to be a national vice president. And a lot of the time, we tend to grow to the level that we are personally developed at. And once you kind of hit that, and you might find yourself, if you're in your business right now and you're in a bit of a funk and you've been doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working and you're doing the work, I highly recommend you do the work in here, because a lot of the time you need to grow as a person. I say this to my team all the time. You need to grow as a person to be able to grow a business. It's impossible to grow a business if you're not growing as a person. All entrepreneurs are constantly going and learning every single day. So I want to just give you guys a little bit of inspiration. When I became a regional vice president, like I said, we stayed region for about 4 years. There was some ups and downs. There was a point in my business where it was literally just me working. I didn't have a team anymore. I was on the brink of losing my region. And that's when my incredible mentor, Charlie, said to me, you've got two choices. You can go again or you can stop. And I decided to go again. I put my independent consultant hat back on and I went back out there, putting samples in the post, prospecting, like doing all the things that I did when I first started. This was in the June 2021. I had had my lowest month in business. And just a year later, in the same month when I was giving birth to my second son, we had our biggest month in business. And for the first time ever, I had done my trifecta bonus as a region. And then from there, it was game on. It was let's keep going, let's keep growing as a person, bringing more people in, sponsoring, sharing this incredible opportunity, sharing the products. And we were on our road to nation. And we went into qualification for nation this time last year in November. And we didn't complete in December. And you know what? It just wasn't our time. We just were not ready as a team. And we reset and we went so focused together as a team for the year of 2024. And obviously just promoted to nation. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a story. I want to show you, I'm actually going to share a little bit about our numbers on how we got to nation, because I want you to know that no matter where you are right now in your business, whether you're a team of one, a team of 100, being here 10 years, being here 10 minutes, you can become a national vice president team in 2025. It's just a decision backed up with a lot of hard work. If you haven't read The Miracle Equation by Hal Elrod, I highly recommend. It's the first book that you read of 2025. I read the book every single January. Every single January. I've read it about 4 or 5 times now. And it is an absolutely incredible book. So we were steadily growing at the beginning of 2024. And I made the commitment for the first time ever in my business to invest in myself, in my business, and go to our global conference in Vegas. And I honestly can tell you guys, that's probably one of the main reasons that I'm sitting here and speaking to you as a national vice president. These conferences and these events change your life. Yes, I understand it's an investment, but you will get it back tenfold. So if you haven't yet booked your ticket to GTC, chat to your upline, figure out what the best way is to go about it. And, can't wait to see you there in June. And it's actually my birthday as well, that exact weekend. So better be there to celebrate. So we were steadily building. And then we had a little bit of a bump in the road back in July last year, August, July, just after conference. And I'm going to share my numbers with you to give you guys some inspiration on what you can actually achieve when you put your mind to it. So back in August, we finished on 67,556 QV. Now, you might be a brand new consultant and be like, oh my God, those numbers are massive. And yes, they are. I'm so proud of my numbers, but they're not nation numbers, okay? We then had our national conference in September, and the beautiful Sarah Dunning came over and spoke, and I had the pleasure of spending some time with her. And I truly think having that one-on-one time with Sarah was what made me had a massive shift in my leadership and made me realize that yes, we can go for nation as a team. So in September, we ended up finishing on 92,927 QV. In October, I declared nation qual for the team. Now, I'm going to be really, really honest with you. I didn't declare nation qual to go nation qual. I declared nation qual to give my team something to fight for. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes it's a lot easier to fight for somebody else's goals than your own. I have always been able to fight for other people harder than myself. So I just said, do you know what? If I tell my team we're going nation qual and I build that belief in them, they're going to fight and they're going to want to go nation qual and they're going to go for it. And if we get there, great. And if we don't, we're all going to have a great month anyway. Well, that was literally how I went into it. And we got there. We finished October on 166,021 QV. Then came November, and this is where we had to back it up to complete nation. We had 217,978 QV to do. Now, that is a whole bonusing region more than where our numbers were standing. And I just said, we're not leaving anything on the table. We can do this. It's just the case of everybody in the team leveling up again. And we worked so, so hard. We got to the last 3 days of the month and we still had about 70,000 to go. We got to the last day of the month and we had 43,000 to go. We got to the last hour of the month and we had 10,000 to go. And we completed on 218,345. So just to give you an idea, guys, my numbers more than tripled, almost quadrupled in 4 months because I believed we could do it. I poured my belief into my team. We backed it up with hard work and consistency. And I just want you to know that you can do this too, okay? You absolutely can. It's a decision that you need to make today. You need to put the work in place today, and you need to go for it until it's done. So my top 3 tips that I'm going to leave you with to grow in 2025. Now, this first one might be a little bit controversial, but this is something that I have been doing for the past 5 years, and it's never failed me yet. Focus on AIT. Focus on earning that trip. Because if you earn AIT as a byproduct, you're going to have at least 3 promotions in your success line. You're going to have done at least 100,000 CQ, 100,000 in your central district over 6 months. It is impossible that you stay in the same place if you do those things. When I started my business, I didn't know what area was. I didn't know what region was. I didn't even know there was a car. I didn't understand anything, but I knew there was a trip and I love to travel. And I was told what I needed to do to earn that trip, and I got to work and I earned it. So if you are earning these trips as a byproduct, you are going to promote through our compensation plan. So that's my first thing. Focus on AIT. Find those people that want to run with you, elevate them through the compensation plan, find those customers, bring in new, sponsor, share, repeat. That's my first thing. My second thing is massively focusing on personal development. No matter who you are or where you are in your Arbonne journey, there is always, always room for growth. Something that you need to leave in 2024, which I am still guilty of doing, we probably all are, is the blame and the excuses. Stop blaming, what happened 3 years ago with the pandemic. Stop blaming, this, that, and the other for the lack of success in your Arbonne business. Leave the blame in 2024. Focus on positive things only. The law of the attraction, the secret. Listen to it over and over and over again. Focus on positivity and do personal development every single day, whether it's a podcast in your ear, whether it's gratitude, affirmations, grounding, inner work. Reading, in my opinion, is the best, because when you read, you have to concentrate. You know, you can be listening to a podcast, doing the cleaning, making the lunches, and it's kind of half going in. But when you're reading, if you really want to absorb what's in the book, you have to concentrate. And it also activates a different part of your brain. Reading is my favorite form of personal development. So that's the second thing. AIT, personal development. And the third thing trumps absolutely everything. Consistency is key in this business. I have never taken, in my 5 years of Arbonne, time off from my business. Now, what that means, I have taken a breath, absolutely, you know, but I've not taken a break. I've had a day off where I've just said, do you know what? No social media today. The phone's going in the drawer, but I have never had a week off. I have never taken a step back, okay? You don't need to take a step back from your Arbonne business, you guys, okay? You know, if there are things happening, if you're moving house, if the kids are sick, like that's just life. That's just life, I'm afraid. Suck it up. I have never, ever taken a break from my Arbonne business or taken a step back. And Charlie and Claire can attest to this. It is all about consistency. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean you don't have like a day off or a couple of days off to be with your family. But even when we went on holidays, I have made it my mission to get up before everybody else, go for a beach walk, you know, listen to a podcast, reply to some messages, whatever it is. And then I'm back and I'm present and I'm focused with the family. My biggest tip in this business is consistency. You just have to do the same thing over and over again every single day. The universe is listening, the universe is watching, and I promise you, eventually, whatever goal you are going for, it will happen. So there are my 3 things for you guys in 2025. Focus on AIT, leave the blame and the negativity, and do it. I was going to say another word. Do a lot of personal development and be consistent. Lots of love to you all. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak, Sarah. And I really hope to meet as many of you as I can in Vegas in June.